sit in, enjoy yourself. Hello all, welcome to Friday. My name is James True. You're watching James True Live. And I'm on camera talking to you, saying stuff. Here's a word. Bethesda. There you go. Take that. Where am I? Bethesda. Yeah, there's a word for you. Heavy week. Maybe. Some of you may not be having a heavy week because the mycelium is not fully connected yet, which is great. The AP Reuters feed may not penetrate you because you've built enough immunity. You're like a billionaire and you've built your own cosmos. Fuck, I'm not muted. Good. And, you know, that's a sign of real power, I think. If you are not aware of things in the news, I think that's a real sign of power. And it's part of the earliest forms of ridicule. When I was in high school, one of the biggest forms of ridicule was this idea that you be made fun of if you didn't know what's on the news. If you missed the news, if you couldn't regurgitate exactly what was said, then you were not with it. And this is still true in a lot of ways. And I think this is the rising of consciousness. I've said this before, that consciousness needs to suckle off the teats of an egregore or a group or a majority, an organism, a psychic organism. If you don't like that word, that's fine. Psychic organism, I can use that. And that you sucking off the teat of a psychic organism is necessary for you to develop your own consciousness. And until you do, you're going to need a modular way of hallucinating the world that allows you to understand the chemicals, the ion channels that are receiving information from your cellular membranes, this communication network. You are contagious and protagious to everything around you. It crucifies you in a way because you are placed in a permeated cross where you have no choice but to be the reef of the Gaia herself. She's allowed to give you the seawater of Sheol, the saltiest water you could taste, and you're forced to drink it simply by being alive. And you've made this choice thousands of years ago that you were interested enough in this simulation, in this hallucination, to never want to let go. I just don't know if anyone's reminded you of that. I don't know. Maybe no one's told you that in a while. Maybe you don't get that at Chick-fil-A, you know. Maybe you're not, there's not like, hey, before you order fries, did you know that you get it. Today's one of those days. This week is one of those weeks. I have not said this phrase in a while. It's called blind empathy. And I just used it with a budding friendship that I think is probably now canceled for two different reasons, which I won't go into. But first of all, one is because I probably insulted this guy, and I fucking hate when that happens. I hate when that happens because I feel like sometimes I'm just engaging with someone. It happened the other day with a guy goes, "Hey, how come you don't use real art instead of AI?" And I'm like, "Dude, I'm a cartoonist. I've been memming and cartooning since before you had a diaper." And I mean, I didn't say that, but I need a Charles Bukowski unicorn smoking a cigarette, and I don't want to draw that. I don't want to draw that. It's gonna take a while. I'm gonna have to get into Bukowski more, as if that's possible, in the sense of start drinking and just go live in a brownstone somewhere and just probably take a dump in the corner. Not gonna lie, probably do weird shit like that to really go full Bukowski, and then find that blah 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 and miss all this other things. And meanwhile, I got groundhogs coming in over here asking for stuff. I got work to do. And I can tell AI, hey, I need a Charles Bukowski unicorn in a contemplative, desperate state. I can type all those things in. Why is this not cartooning? Why is this not memeology? Don't we constantly reward the latest cartoonist who is just a lazy fucking artist? Isn't that, guys, isn't this basically how it goes? That before AI, we would just find the shittiest cartoonists around who gave the least shit and then say, "You're the cartoonist now." And then we'd call that fucking art. You know Callahan. Do you remember that guy? That dude had it fucking made because He was a quadriplegic in a wheelchair, if I remember correctly. And because of that, you could not criticize his art. So I think he leaned into that. He's like, oh, yeah, watch this, fucktards. This is a tarantula or a house. You figure it out. And people were like, oh, my God, this is funny. And what is it? What is it? Is that a tarantula house? What? I don't understand. And this just kept happening. And it's part of this blind empathy. And I'm so sorry. I realize why I should not have private conversations. I shouldn't be on Facebook talking to people like we're just having a sophist circle, that this is the island of Pythagoras, and that people in Facebook kind of want me to have conversations with other people that may be borderline on, you could call it jousting, but at no point in time am I saying you're this, or this is wrong, or this is faulty. But I do use words that burn like a bitch. And I don't know that they burn because I'm not actually using them to attack anyone. I'm using them to protect us all. And one of those is blind empathy. I believe, and have written before, it's been a while since I brought this up, but that at the heart of what drives most of what causes a lot of pain in the world, believe it or not, is blind empathy. It is a herd mentality of thou must care, and that thou must care for someone that you may not have a limbic attachment to. I'm talking about a neural hook into the face, more importantly, I believe, the smell of someone else. In my mind, the smell of someone else opens a barrier between you. Listen to me closely when I say barrier. It's a barrier because you are no longer able to personify this person as not real. The moment you can smell someone, you lose an immune response to say they do not exist. This, I think, has, believe it, I'm not trying to be fancy. I honestly think this has to do with quantum entanglement. I really do. The Chemo-Signals, we used to call them pheromones, but we've changed, as if I'm one of them. Yeah, I'm on the Council of Pheromone Naming. They're like, James, we need you next weekend. You need to come into Tahoe. We're going to rename pheromones into Chemo-Signals. But you don't call them pheromones anymore because the Chemo-Signals are a much more accurate term. And they're referring to the charge that you and I would closely call smell. The soma. That's right. And that once you enter into a somatic contract with someone, and a romantic contract with someone, you lose the ability to unempathize with them. They're real. Until that point, you actually do not know that they're real. I'm talking in your personal cosmology. And that most of the damage that will happen in the world is you acting on things that you think are real, but you have no aromatic connection to, a limbic connection to. Maybe the word limbic connection isn't the best way to describe this, but I just need you to hold on to that, as this is what it means. To tangibly smell someone is to limbically record them. And the moment that you limbically record them, I want you to know that forever from that moment on, you are responsible for secreting empathy. That you don't have a choice because you are not able to discern anymore whether or not this is a triangle on the screen, a false illusion. Some of you believe that you should have empathy for everyone equally at all times and at all places. And this is an admirable goal. And it's one of those goals where, because you are doomed to fail, because you know you will fail at that, you are simply lying to yourself at a moment when you're supposed to be exercising empathy. And I don't think that you could do both. I don't think that you can truly have empathy for someone unless you can be honest and authentic with it. And I think it's harder for you and it's harder for me to have empathy for things that we have not limbically known. This is just a fundamental of what I think. Am I right? It doesn't fucking matter. Someone posted yesterday, a new budding friend that I haven't ruined my friendship with him yet, that I did the same thing. I'm jousting with him right now, and I think that other people want to see this. And he said, hey, James, I saw something the other day that maybe Charlie Kirk, the whole thing was AI. And 3 years ago, if you would have told me this, I would have been in the fascism, something that we talk about here all the time, of majority objectivity, where I need everyone else to see the fucking reality that I see too. And when my mate posts this and says it underneath my passionate live stream about the death of Charlie Kirk, years ago that would have weakened me because it would have eroded my fascism for insisting that I had something called truth. And my response to him, I feel, shows how far I've come since then, because my response to him was, hey, you know what? It truly could be, because I have no limbic connection to Charlie Kirk. I don't actually know. And I will tell you that in my mind, what's in the mythology is more important to truth than what actually happened, because I just noticed that's how the world works. That when I look back at COVID-19, I realized that the truth is really just a wasted calories that you dump yourself into if you are not also acknowledging that the egregore, the psychic organism, has a mean version of truth. We talked about that number mean, and that people are mean in the sense of that the ones that haven't developed a consciousness yet will gain mitochondrial power, like you're a cell invading your own self, and you're powering yourself up off the beliefs and thoughts and the majority rule of someone else. And that this is a parasitic relationship, but on James True Live, you know that parasitic relationship is a good thing. That Gaia gave us these relationships so we could raise babies, and we could take orphans, and we could help each other when we're down. So looking at the world through this way is a very different architecture, and it's going to insult a lot of people. But in order for you to look at the world through this way, should you want to, you're not forced to, I need you to understand that there's a tangible plasma, a melanin in the world called blind empathy. And that blind empathy is how we go to war. It's how we follow psyops. It's how we are led to a George Floyd gold coffin funeral and an Air Force Two flying a body in memory across the states. That the mythology of what people believe is not your empathy. It is the mythology around you. If you mistake the mythology for your personal empathy, your perforations as you're crucified on this reef will open, and you will become what people call an NPC or a sheep, and that life is a fruitful and generous way of being in the garden. Did you hear that? There's no ridicule there for me. If universal empathy is the way that you want to exercise your heart, I think that's a formula that works. You are going to set your sail to all kinds of different rigging that I may not find. But for me personally, I'm looking at a cosmology, a posture that I have about where the world is. And I only have so much calories to give empathy to. And I've noticed that America is the same, that we don't stretch our empathy, that if someone is shot on a college campus and it's on our turtle's back, it's in America, we have empathy. But if someone is shot on a campus and it's just anywhere else but here, that empathy is actually patriotism. And you could argue there's some gray areas, but there's really not. And Charlie Kirk proves to you where the gray areas are not. It proves to you the existence of blind empathy. And I think you're probably going to either maybe react harshly to this because it's true, or you're going to find it fascinating because it reveals something about you that I've seen in me. And that not only do you see something that's shameful about yourself and true about yourself, but it actually empowers you. It actually makes you understand more about where your cosmology should be. Now back to limbic implant, because Charlie Kirk has limbically implanted himself into you. There's no getting around that. You may not have smelled him. So his reach has a much stronger take than, say, the campus in Gaza, or the student that was beheaded the same day in LA, or the other gunshot victims that died the same day in a school that I'm literally calling other. I'm clumping them together like a cup of flour. Right now, someone just died. Holy fuck, right now, someone just died. Holy fuck, right now, 2 people just died. Holy shit, another person just died. Holy fuck, another person just died. Where's your fucking empathy? You're a narcissist, James. You don't have empathy for... Why are you doing a show? Someone just died. 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 So how are you holding this illusion that you have empathy for everyone around you? Am I saying that you are a cruel person? Does it feel that way? Because if it does, it's because you're taking off a shirt that you've never taken off before, ever. Never. You've never once considered that you could even take the shirt off, which means you've never personally been practicing empathy yourself. You've never once fired up your own empathy engines. You've been running on blind empathy, and you've been rewarded by the herd that tells you what's okay to feel. It is okay to feel affected by someone being shot in the head, by the way. And you know what else? It is okay to not be affected by someone who gets shot in the head, because all of you've already proved it to me. You've already proved it to me. I don't have to bring up the evidence. I don't have to slip it to you in a courtroom and make you admit that you didn't actually have empathy for this person, even though you're arguing that you have empathy for all people. You don't have empathy for all people because you cannot afford it. And the reason why you cannot afford it is because your heart is this big. You only have so many cells in your body. Your energy in plasma is a finite resource. Empathy is not a free energy device. It's not a magic coupon that you can just bequeath to everyone around you. More importantly, it's something that you need to exercise exactly when it's hard. So it's not actually empathy to empathize for someone when the tide around you is already showing you, pressuring you to empathize. Does it mean that the person is receiving empathy or not? Believe it or not, that doesn't matter because you don't even know what's in their cosmology. You're the one that's assuming that they feel better because you're even empathizing for them. Think about how much PTSD it is for a veteran when you're like, oh, thank you for your service. And they're mad at the lies. They're mad at you because you're the one that talked them into signing the paper and going overseas and shooting someone in the head on a campus and knowing that no one will ever understand what that soldier has to bear now because no one around him ever wants to show empathy. But we say thank you for your service because all of us care. And we say this is a tragedy someone should do something when Charlie Kirk is shot because we should care, but we don't do that anywhere else. It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen because we can't afford it. And the government that's controlling you, that's controlling the people that lack this shell to not know who Charlie Kirk is, that government counts on the fact that you will have blind empathy. That government counts on the fact that we will have a culture where 1/3 of the bots were proven on X to be, 1/3 of the accounts on X have now been proven to be robots. That same number, it was proven that the day that Donald Trump was endorsed, that number of bots went up by 10. And that we live in a culture that accepts that we have bots, that believes in Punditry's innocence, that believes that anyone and everyone that's advocating for you to push for more Washington is committing no moral flaws at all. And I don't know how to make empathy work with that. I don't know how to do that because I have empathy for innocent victims. Maybe I have too much. I think I'm a utilitarian and I'm just pouring too much empathy because I'm looking at every single thing that's affected. And I'm looking at every single person's role here. Who got to die on the pyramid as a hero, standing for every single thing that they ever wanted? Who's the person that got duped and ends up waking up because they're setting fire to an oil field surrounded by, honestly, some pretty violent people that are all from America. And you guys are calling each other good guys. And you're insisting that invading a new country every 1.3 years since World War II is like a good move. If you think that America is committing immorality, and I said if, I don't need you to agree. I think that there's a time when it's okay to believe that the Amuraka is good. I think that that's a nurturing kind of tea to have. And I also think that it becomes an imperative to feel the way I do now, which is that I see a lot of immorality coming out of this idea of let's fucking vote for more of this. I see so much immorality out of it. I feel a necessity to try and depollinate it. I want to depollinate it because I want to feel that I'm a vital part of this turtle's back, that I have this sponge-like ability to secrete thoughts, ideas, and pollen that says, hey, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. And that would be empathy. That me shaming my own brethren would be the only opportunity I could have to exercise empathy at all. That anything else would be simply following the current and doing what everyone else is doing and feeling like I was empathic. So I think this is what a psyop is. Every psyop is weaponized empathy that counts on people that have not fully developed, gives them something to taste, to drink, to lean into, that gives them a sense that they're right, that they have unity, and that there's a group behind them. This is why I'm not invited to the Freedom Under Natural Law. I'm explaining to you American philosophy. I'm explaining to you the tenets of transcendentalism, utilitarianism, pragmatism, all of them combined. I'm showing you the body electric. I'm telling you how a modern conscious man is supposed to struggle with these things. I'm not telling you here's the answer. I'm telling you this is the struggle. Why not dig in? Why not enjoy it? Many of you used to come to me for answers. You would watch me for answers. Why? Because I was telling you what the fuck was going on when no one else was. That's why. But you started to notice that some of the answers I was telling you didn't taste right. And so you stepped away. And you stepped away and you're like, oh, this is different. This has changed. And I've never fucking changed. I've never fucking changed. I am climbing the pyramid just like you. I am doing my best to find my way along a path that I know is supposed to change. That I am a Kafka-esque bug metamorphosizing myself through every one of these events, just like you. And the reason why you came back over this Charlie Kirk thing is because you needed a little bit of fucking sanity. You needed to just have a little bit of drink to that, because you don't like the medicine that I preach, that I never fucking change. It's not something you want in your village, but it's something that when you know you fucking need it, you're going to come here and you're going to drink. And it's going to inform my understanding of empathy. It shows me the truth of the truth movement. It shows me what people are truly like versus how they are weaponized to behave. And it's hard to be here. It's hard. I'm not a martyr. I'm telling you that it's difficult when someone is shot like this and you feel this is the right time to tell the truth. And so I have. And this isn't it's good to see you back. No. You don't fucking like the truth. And you can only take a little bit of it at a time. And you will only be in this foxhole when you are in danger. And the second you feel that everything's okay, you can go back out there and enjoy yourself again. And I'm going to be straight up with you. I fucking envy you for that. I wish I could leave. I wish I could take off these antlers and do the same. Here's the problem. I've smelt you guys. I've been around a while. I've smelt the military. I've smelt war. I've smelt families. I've smelt veterans. I've smelt addicts. I've smelt every kind of person. And every one of them I learned something from. Do you know why? Because I have fucking empathy. Because I really want to understand people. I don't give a shit what your shape is. How much empathy you have here versus how little empathy you have here only just tells me your posture. It just allows me and informs me more to know who you are. It's not a flaw. So I'm not even dealing on the same scale where I think some of you are like deep down, yeah, but this is a contest for who cares the most. No, it's the concept. It's a contest for who cares authentically. That's what the concept is. It's a contest for that. And the authenticity is never going to come through the outside. It's not going to come through someone else. Someone posted today, they're embarrassed about saying it because they didn't want to feel like they were calling anyone out. But they're like, Jameson 9's people come to you and they ask you for things as if you have the answer. And first of all, I'm very susceptible to things like that. So I don't see this stuff. Luckily I have friends that are nice enough to send it to me and say it. Do you know why they are? Because they notice how many times they have a view that's different than mine. And I'm like, find it interesting. Like they just notice that. They notice that I'm not here to defeat you. I'm not here to show you I'm right. I'm here to itch and do this and go, what do you think about this? I'm just wondering, well, let's think about this. And what if we move this over here? And what happens if we do this? And we don't live in a world where that's possible because we live in a world that doesn't embrace this new way of thinking. And this new way of thinking isn't even new. It's just reserved for those of you who've created your own vessel. You're eukaryotic. You've created your own nucleus. And you're able to block stuff out like that. This is a new age. It's a white sun. It's not a yellow one. I don't think you're going to be able to pull this off anymore. I don't think the blind empathy is going to work. I think you're going to have to buckle up and really, really just develop a core identity. And in that core identity, really just start to stand your ground. One of those things you could stand your ground in is that is that I'm personally moved by Charlie Kirk. That's fucking great cosmology to have. Do you see what I mean? I don't need to approve it. And to answer the question, the people that do come to me maybe looking for an answer, maybe looking for approval, I hope that I demonstrate a lot, quite naturally, this, hey, I don't fucking know what's going on. Because I don't derive my confidence from how much of the majority I can convince into something else. I used to. That was like back in my lawyer debate days. I was like way into debate. Then I started to notice that we weren't actually discussing philosophy. Like we weren't actually having a dialogue. And I've just always been turned off to debate ever since because I just don't see how it's constructive. I think if I wanted to pull a Lancelot or something and show how cool I am because I have a sharp tongue, debate would be fucking awesome. But I'm not interested in why I may have a better idea or worse idea. I'm just interested in why your idea is there. What is it about it? Is there something I'm missing inside this wrapper? And more importantly, will you look at my wrappers too? Will you look at my beliefs and tell me, hey, James, I noticed you... There's a little sycophancy over here. There's this, there's that. I learned my biggest lessons this way. Some of the most foolish things are by watching myself in public embarrass myself and notice, wow, I should have done that or I should have done this. And you know what? I used to do that with blind empathy. I used to find myself empathizing for Seth Ridge. I was so convinced all that was true. I don't actually fucking know what happened with Seth Ridge. And I lost a lot of calories believing people like Liz Crokin. And those calories, I could have been giving authentic empathy to all the people that I actually knew. And if you want to ask what empathy is, it's understanding first that empathy is finite, and second, that it's the only precious resource you have. And you better fucking be giving it to people who deserve it. Who authentically, completely deserve it. And most people aren't in that mode. Most people are more just practicing the squirt. Can I secrete empathy anywhere? Can I just spit it anywhere? Can I just make it come out when I'm supposed to? Am I a sponge? Gwen, outrage, do something. That is how you learn to exercise a muscle. And when you do it when everyone else is doing it, people are encouraging you. And you need encouragement until you develop yourself, until you develop that bubble. And the second you do, you're going to be called names. People are going to dehumanize you. They're going to say you don't have empathy. They're going to call you a narcissist. They're going to call you a sociopath. They're going to call you evil and you the problem. They're going to insist that what's really bothering the world is people like you who do not have universal empathy, who do not squeeze empathy when it's needed. And those same people have been squeezing empathy when they're supposed to, and they feel cheated. They feel cheated because their empathy has no juice. It has no juice because they're not secreting it when no one else is. I've told you before that morality is never feel good. I've told you this. That if morality felt good, if you were a Perseus being rewarded by the community, let me say this, externally feels good. Morality never externally feels good. That the Perseus is rewarded by everyone else around him to kill a woman he's never met, and that by the time he gets there, he has no choice. It's not a moral decision. This is just peer pressure. That morality will always be you going against the grain. It's literally an opportunity you have. This is why the contrarian is doing something very hermetical that you better be watching out for. They're dangerous fucks, those guys. They're waiting for the opportunity to seize more morality, and the only time they can do it, the only time they can prove it to the Gaia, to the system, is to push against the grain when everyone else is going for it. This is hardwood. And Gaia's like, there's some hardwood. I can do something with this. There's not a right level here, guys. There's nothing wrong with being sheep. Sheep are beautiful. They're cute as fuck. They make the world go round. They keep us warm. They give us something to do. When we count them when we go to sleep, there's nothing wrong with sheep. There's nothing wrong with hermits. There's nothing wrong with all of these hermetic ladders. The only people that are telling you, oh, sheep is fucking beef, that are sheep. They're fucking sheep. The same way that people are attacking you because your blind empathy is not in line with theirs. Think of this as the only time you get to level up. This truly is the only time that you get to prove how moral you can actually be. I'm going to sign off, but we have Dojo. It's been a big week, so I think Dojo's needed. I think you guys should take it more seriously. You got 6 minutes. We'll see you in there soon, and we'll discuss more about all these topics. Thank you for watching James True Live. Appreciate you guys. Hang in there.